Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Thursday, November 6th, just before 5:45 in the evening, and this is our daily recap video for our $1 Billion Club. It's YieldMax's individual income covered call strategy funds, CONY, MSTY, NVDY, and TSLY, off of the very popular stocks Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Now Strategy, NVIDIA, and Tesla. A reminder, I'm on X as well at ETF_Inspector1. I let you know when videos are going to premiere, as well as reposting distribution announcements and all things related to ETFs and things that we cover on the channel. So it was a basically repeat of Tuesday, another just about all red day. So our stocks and their underlyings had a very rough day today. Coinbase down 7.54%. CONY faring just a little better, 6.87% down. MSTR down 6.98%. MSTY down 6.48%, again, slightly better. NVIDIA down 3.65%, with NVIDIA down 3.35%, a little better again. And finally, Tesla down 3.54%, with TSLY only going down 2.52%. That's a decent difference. So all four of the YieldMax funds outperformed their underlying, but outperforming on the way down never really feels that good. So, all right, we'll get right into it. Alphabetical order. We'll start with the trades. Obviously, in days and weeks like this, we're going to win our trades because we're selling calls to generate income. And so if the stock goes down, it's not going to cost hardly anything to close out those sold calls. So that's what we're doing. Closing out 322.50s, 325s, and 327.50s expiring tomorrow. And they're the other side of their call spreads. We're selling those, and then we're starting to sell new calls for next week with strike prices at 310, 317.50, and 320, bringing in $5.3 million credit on the options trading side of things today. They made a few $100,000 on what would that be, Tuesday, 6.9 million on Wednesday, and 5.3 million. So all positive trading days as far as CONY is concerned. When we switch over to look at the holdings, we had a change in this synthetic, 400 new contracts added to it from yesterday. It's another 17,805 at 300 expiring November 21st, and 19,470 contracts at a 390 synthetic expiring December 19th. The 300s at the start of the day were worth $36 million. Unfortunately, coin dropped 7.5% today, so below 300. Those will be in the negative tomorrow, and the 390s will be almost $100 in the negative as far as per share. So it's going to be an enormous cost to close these out if we don't get a rebound. People bought into the fund yesterday, 3.3 million shares. Yesterday was announcement day for the declaration, so maybe they were happy with that. There's 1.1 billion, almost 1.2 billion in assets under management at the start of the day. 204,700,000 outstanding shares. $5.84 was the NAV when the day started. Obviously, it was a rough one, down to 5.44%. In this case, when they were selling only a portion, not 100% of the calls, if it had rebounded, they would have performed very well. Since it went down, we would have been better off selling 100% of the calls. But what can you do? All the calls that were closed out on the previous page was everything that was left for this week. So we now have nothing left for this week. We do have some positions already sold. 330, 332.50, 335, and 337.50, all for next week. And then we also sold some more today for next week as well. Those are all nearly 12 to 14% out of the money. They did announce yesterday 8.87 cents per share. At the time, it wasn't an 85% annualized yield. It's because CONY dropped 6.5% today. But in any case, today was X day, and tomorrow will be distribution payday. Next we have MSTY closing out for this Friday. Calls sold at 265, 267.50, and 270. As you can see, paying change to close them out. Selling the other side of those call spreads as well, collecting change. But then we're selling calls for next week, the 14th, and you can see $3 to $4 per share being collected on each of the contracts. There's 100 shares per contract, and you can see 1,000 contracts, 5,000 contracts. So bringing in large chunks of money. Selling calls at $252.50. $255, $257.50, $260, $262.50, and $265, and buying some calls as well. Oof, I actually did not mean to turn those negative. So that's going to result in even better $8.4 million credit. Generally, it's going to put all the purchases buy down together, but it didn't. So $8.4 million credit on the trading day. It's not going to make a difference. They were closing out deep underwater synthetics earlier this week, so we've got like 300 million to the negative. So don't get excited about that $8 million gain. When we switch over and look at our holdings, we've got our synthetics in purple. Here we've got synthetic combo at 270, 255, 270. So the first 270 is December 19th. The second one's January 16th. And then the 255 and 300 are also January 16th. At this point, with MSTR at 230s, everything is now deep underwater, including this 255 that started the day worth $5 million. They did add 2,500 contracts to the 255 from yesterday, and they took away 2,000 contracts from the 270. I should say closed out and opened would make a little more sense. 2.7, almost 2.8 billion in assets under management at the start of the day. People actually sold out of the fund yesterday on declaration day, so maybe they weren't happy with that 16.88 cents per share announcement. Outstanding shares dropped to 273,825,000, and the NAV started the day at $10.19, obviously dropping a large chunk down to $9.52. Again, they only have a portion of the possible calls sold, which would have been great if MSTR made a recovery, but instead when it went down, it would have been a lot better to have sold 100% of the calls. Similar to CONY, they have now closed out, we talked about it on the trades page, closed out everything that was remaining for this week. And so now the only things, what we have for next week is 265s, 267.50s, 270s, 272.50s, and 275s. They're anywhere from 11.7 to just about 16% out of the money. And that's everything for MSTY. Next we go to NVDY. We look at the trades. First off, they were adding to the synthetic combination at 200 for January 16th. So they bought 700 calls and they sold 700 puts at 200. That brought in a little bit of profit just because NVIDIA has dropped a little since they started that position. And then from there, we're closing out some calls expiring tomorrow at 207.50 and 210. As you can see, paying pennies to close them out, collecting pennies to sell the other side of the spread, obviously, because they're even further out of the money, and then selling the new calls for next week, bringing in $2.30 to almost $3 a share at strike prices of $195 and $197.50 and $200, as well as buying other sides of the call spread. Okay, that brought in $7.7 million in credit on options trading today. They had a good day yesterday, a great day on Tuesday, and an okay day on Monday as well. So all positives all week on NVIDY. We switch over to the holdings. Like we said, we have a November 21st, 205, and a January 16th, 200. Both are underwater, and both went much deeper underwater today after NVDY dropped. So all these will update with even lower values, even further in the negative values once we get the download. As you can see, they've closed out everything again that expires this Friday, so they have nothing left for this Friday, and they currently have 207.50s and 210s for next week, 10.3 to 11.6% out of the money. They started the day with $1.7 billion in assets under management. People did buy into the fund yesterday, so they were probably happy with that very high distribution announcement. 1 million new shares came in, bringing it up to 109,750,000. NAV at the start of the day, 1591, closing at 1535. Another one, they're not selling 100% of the calls, and we wish they had, but hindsight's always 20/20. Tomorrow, if you had the shares today and you purchased them previous to today, then tomorrow you will receive that very nice greater than 100% annualized yield distribution of 31.86 cents per share. Last but not least, TSLY, just a small trade here. They added to their synthetic 450, January 16th 450, so they bought some 450 calls, they sold some 450 puts, 500 of them, and then immediately started trading, selling calls to generate income and buying the other side of the call spread for protection. That netted $38,000, so nothing major. Another one, TSLY, nothing but wins so far trading this week. Switch over to the holdings. Like we said, they have a 450 for January 16th and a 470 for January 16th. They started the day worth 19 million and costing 5.5 million, but after the drop to 445, both are now going to be in the negative once the download comes through. They are, so of course, the one that is hanging the closest has 100% of their possible calls sold, where it would have worked out better for the others that were 12+% out. But in any case, they've got calls expiring Friday at 460, 462.50, 467.50, and 470. They're anywhere from 3 to 5.4% out of the money with one trading day left to go. $1.2 billion in assets under management. My dog came to visit. $1.2 billion in assets under management at the start of the day. People bought into the fund yesterday as well. They probably liked that nice high annualized yield on the distribution. 1,975,000 new shares yesterday, bringing it up to 152,500,000. NAV at the start of the day, 845. They dropped about 20 cents worth of value based on their share price there. And tomorrow is payday for 14.7 cents per share. Okay, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, feedback, everything like that. Please let people know if they are looking to keep track of their investments that they can get all the daily information right here. Okay, dad joke of the day. How does Reese eat cereal? With her spoon. That's a dumb one. Reese Witherspoon. Okay. Good luck trading tomorrow. Don't forget to close out or roll any options you have expiring tomorrow, or at least be paying attention to them so you don't get caught off guard with an assignment or an exercising. I'll catch you in the next video.